Hey, what is up, everyone? I am CBM Productions. Sorry, just right now I am wiping my glasses, but I didn't expect to be this early to do a live stream. But I realized that I just hit 900 subscribers yesterday, and once again, like I do every time I hit 100 subscribers, I always like to thank you guys for what you have done. For the support that has been growing on this channel because of your support and keep watching my content. I really do appreciate it. And I always like giving back to you guys. I always like hanging out with you guys. And we're just going to hang out for, I don't know, maybe like 30, 45 minutes. You guys can put your questions or you just want to chat about things. I'm an open book. Definitely, let's see. Thank you, Jasmine, for the congrats on that 100 subs. Thank you so much. So, yes, almost there. By the way, do you prefer Titanic or Avatar? Titanic. Titanic's a great movie. A little too long. Avatar, I think, is overrated. I mean, I watched it like a couple years ago, and I'm like, why was this like the highest grossing movie for like 10 years in a row until Endgame? It's decent, but I don't know why they're making 4 sequels that are taking forever to come out. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see some people come in. I originally wanted like to plan this out, but the day is scheduled very weirdly, and now I got extra plans for the weekend that popped up at the last minute, but that's life. So yeah. Can you rank the Blue Sky films worst of us since it's shutting down? Yeah, I heard about Blue Sky shutting down. I've only seen the first 2 Ice Age films, Robots, and I'm trying to think. Let me pull up Blue Sky's history. Also, is the mic working for you? I want to use the Blue Yeti for this one instead of using like the crappy laptop mic that I've used for the past few live streams where it sounds like a Game Boy. But yeah, honestly, I hate the fact that Fox is like slowly being shut down by Disney. That's what I figured would happen, and now it's like it sucks because Blue Sky had some good movies. But yeah, let me just pull up their filmography because again, I'm not super familiar with them. Because I know they've done like Ferdinand, I think was one, and Blue Sky Films. Studios animation movies. Okay, let's see what films they've done. So we got Ice Age. Oh, Rio, Epic. I saw Epic in theaters. Wow. Let's see, Ice Age, Peanuts movie. I think the worst they've done for me is Ice Age Collision Course. That's like the only other Ice Age film I've seen outside of the second one. The first 2, I would say. Then it'd probably be Epic. Then it would be Ice Age Meltdown, the first one. Then I'd probably put Horn Hears a Who, and then I'd probably put Robots as my favorite, and Rio somewhere down the bottom, I think. So yeah, how would you rank the Friday the 13th films from worst to best? For me, the worst, I would say either Jason Takes Manhattan or Jason Goes to Hell. Yeah, I did an entire video on the Friday the 13th ranking. My least favorite is Jason Goes to Hell. Then it would be Jason X. I think I put Jason Takes Manhattan at number 10. I'm trying to remember these off the top of my head. I think I put Part 7 as number 9. Then it'd probably be put. I'm trying to think. Then I think Part 5. I think Freddy vs. Jason. No, I think it's the original Friday the 13th. Then Part 2, Part 3. Remake. No, Freddy vs. Jason remake. Part 4, Part 6. I think. Favorite film from Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds. I don't know if I've seen many films from him. Again, that's one I'm gonna have to pull up because I don't really. What is it? Because he's a little past my time. But let me see what films he's popped up. Because I know he popped in Boogie Nights, which I think is my favorite film from him. I believe. Yeah. Yeah, Boogie Nights is my favorite Burt Reynolds movie. And thank you, Jasmine, for putting in the questions, making this chat very lively. Man, it's really kind of shocking I'm at 900 subs now. I'm this close getting to 1,000. I don't know. Sorry if you heard a door slam. That's just, I think my cat's getting living. But yeah, this has been a really fun journey, and I really appreciate all you guys have done. And it's just, wow, I don't know. Words can express how grateful I am for you guys. That's all I'll say. Yeah. Yeah, if you hear any scratchings from my cat, yeah. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Whew. Ooh, Miguel Garado. Thank you. Black Swan or Billy Elliot? Black Swan. That's one of my favorite Aronofsky movies. That's great. I don't know. I don't think I've seen Billy Elliot. That's another one I need to look up. Billy Elliot. Making sure my cat doesn't ram into the mic and screw up the whole situation. Yeah, I have not watched Billy Elliot. Got to put that on my watch list. So yeah, Black Swan by default, but Black Swan's a great movie. Man, what can you? Okay. Yeah, my cat likes to scratch up the green screen, so I don't like my cat to be allowed in the studio because he always likes messing it up, and it really is frustrating to be with. Can you? Okay. Yeah, this is my cat, Doofus. Man. But how are all of you guys doing? Or, how's everyone doing? I don't know. I'm trying to keep conversation going. Man, I gotta plan these things out better. Okay, we got 3 people in the chat. But yeah. Thoughts on the Angry Birds movies? I've seen both. I think Angry Birds was like the only movie that I've seen in the past few years that I refused to go see in theaters. Like my dad gave me the option to go see it, and I think that was the same weekend that Neighbors 2 and The Nice Guys came out. I was like, nah, I'm not watching Angry Birds, which is something I very rarely do. I love going to the movies. I watched it like at home a couple months later, and it's fine. It's nowhere near as bad as I would say, what was it? It's almost as bad as you would think for an Angry Birds movie. I actually saw the second one in theaters. I was just going to do a Sony animation ranking, but that ended up going to the wayside. But I think they're both decent in their own right. They're nowhere near as bad as something like the Emoji Movie or something from that concept that you would think. They're certainly one of the better video game movies that are out there, which is kind of a sad reality. But hopefully with, the Mortal Kombat reboot and Sonic 2 and the last of the HBO series that we might get some groundwork going. Chucky films worst to best. For me, it'd be Seed of Chucky, Cold Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Child's Play, the remake, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, Child's Play, the original, Child's Play 2. That's similar. How would you rank them? Yeah, that's another franchise I've ranked before. If I'm remembering correctly, Seed of Chucky is definitely the worst. That'd probably be Cult, the Child's Play remake, Curse of Chucky, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, then Child's Play 2, and then the original Child's Play. That's how I would rank the Chucky films. That from memory. What's up, Muhammad? How's it going? Thanks for joining in the live chat. Seeing some people starting to drop things in. Thank you guys. Man. I'm good. Cool. Let's see what happens. Man, I'm good. Got a 4-day weekend ahead of us. Even though I got a shift tomorrow that I didn't expect to get, but hey, you gotta get that grind, to get that cash money. Why do you hate Seed Chucky and think it's the worst? I would rather watch Bride over Seed any day. Ooh. Oh, you think Seed's the best? Oh, Seed of Chucky for me is just a very for me it's like I'm glad that you enjoy it, but for me it's just a terrible sequel in all regards. I don't think it's funny in the slice. It goes way too much in the black comedy territory than the horror aspect. I don't think the jokes are very funny. I don't like the aspect of Glenn and Glenda, and the fact that they never really kind of brought her back in any of the sequels is very weird. Despite the fact that Don Mancini is trying to keep bringing back this film in the continuity of the later sequels. Just the jokes are bad, the kills are weak. You know, just it goes so off the rails in so many territories that I just don't enjoy it, and it's just so off the wall and just so strange. And the fact that it kind of derailed this franchise on the VOD, and now it's just kind of in this weird mix. I think every single Child's Play film after Bride of Chucky has just not been good for me. I haven't really enjoyed any of them. The best has probably been Curse, but Curse is mediocre in my opinion. And yeah, I don't like it whatsoever. It's one of those horror sequels I'm like, yeah, they're terrible. But listen, if you enjoy it, then I'm over the moon happy for it. Like, cause if you can enjoy something that I don't, that's great. Have you seen any of the Don Bluth movies? I'm really hoping that you would rank them sometime soon. Don Bluth, is he the guy who did American Tail? Because again, I don't like I'm just doing this looking on my phone just to make sure because I know I'm not trying to seem disrespectful. I'm just when these live streams, you kind of like, what's the word? As you can see, it's a little hard to be on your feet sometimes. The only movie I've seen that's been associated with him has been Robin Hood from the 70s by Disney. I haven't seen any of his other films like All Dogs Go to Heaven or Secret of Nymph or Anastasia. But yeah, I'll definitely put all those on my watch list. Could you rank these three actors, Jason? I'm sorry if my cat's just messing up some cardboard. Could you rank these three actors, Jason Bateman, Jason Sudeikis, and Charlie Day? Oof. I'd probably say Charlie Day's the worst out of the three. I actually just started watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The guy's really funny in roles. It's just I think he gets typecasted. I don't think he's a guy that can work well in other genres. Meanwhile, Jason Sudeikis and Jason Bateman, they both have proven they can do really well in dramatic stuff. Like Sudeikis did Race, that Jesse Owens biopic, and Jason Bateman. If you've seen The Gift is a great movie where Jason Bateman can really play up his dramatic talents. So if I had to rank one over the other, I'd probably say Jason Bateman is my favorite, then Sudeikis, because I think Sudeikis has less to offer as an actor, but he's still really good. All three of these actors are good. It's just, as in terms of range, I would say Jason Bateman's the best. What are your thoughts on Gran Torino? Pretty good movie. I enjoy it. Clint Eastwood, I enjoy the majority of his films that he makes. He always makes some stuff like 1517 The Pairs, which I don't like, but Gran Torino is a really good movie. It's one of his more popular films of recent memory. And I enjoy the story of him and him learning to come around to this family and, just the whole aspect of cultural diversity and, the action's pretty good. It's a classic little, tale of an old man and, him coming to terms with things. I really enjoy Gran Torino. How would you rank the Jaws films? I actually just shot my, every film franchise ranked part 3. So I am going to rank the Jaws franchise since it has been requested, but for this live stream, I will do it. We'll spoil a bit of my video, but for me, Jaws Revenge, yeah, no surprise. Jaws 3, Jaws 2, Jaws. Jaws is one of those franchises where it's just it gets worse from there. I enjoyed the second one a lot more than most people do, but it's nowhere near the quality of the first one. And then 3 and 4. 3 I can enjoy for some of the bad CGI effects and some of the stellar casting like Dennis Quaid or Louis Costa Jr. or Leia Thompson from the Back to the Future movies, but it's not a good movie. And then Jaws 4 is boring as hell. But yeah. And, it costs a big franchise to be, discontinued for over 30 plus years. And it's been made fun of constantly, even by his own studio and Back to the Future 2 and even stuff like that. But yeah. Anyways, have you seen Ozark? No, but that's a show that I really want to get into because actually the place that I work at, they actually have a little, sometimes they have screenings for some big TV shows or movies. And my coworkers actually got to meet the cast from Ozark, Jason Bateman and the crew. So I don't know. I got to get on that. It's just TV shows for me are just very hard to get into because you have to put so much time and investment. Unless like a comedy show, something like The Office or Psych or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's I can put them on in the background when editing a video and have fun. But if I want to get really invested in something like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul or Dexter, something like that, where I get mostly attached. But I've heard nothing but good things about Ozark, so I might check it out. Kingsman 2 or Kick-Ass 2? Kick-Ass 2. Kingsman 2 for me is just a really bad sequel. Like, I enjoyed it upon first watch when I saw it in theaters like 3.5 years ago, but looking back on it, it's just not a good movie. Like, I just don't enjoy it. It's so goofy and over the top, and just it throws away so much of what made the first film good. It brings back Harry for no reason, and he just stands there. They make the Statesman like this great cast with Channing Tatum and Pedro Pascal and Halle Berry, and they do nothing for the entire movie. And now they want to make a spinoff and like 7 other movies from Matthew Vaughn in a TV series. I'm like, can this guy just do other stuff? That's why I'm worried about the Kingsman, because is Matthew Vaughn going to be like Michael Bay and like burn out his creativity with this franchise? But yeah, sorry if I'm going a little bit of a rant, but I like to flesh out these questions whenever they come in. How would you rank the Saw films? I'm not sure how I would rank them since it's been a while since I've last seen the movies. By the way, yes, Don Bluth is responsible for making The American Tail. Okay, thanks for the clarification. The Saw films, yes, I've watched all of them. It's been a while since I've seen them. I think the last one I watched them was when Jigsaw came out like 3.5 years ago. But if memory serves, I think Saw 7 is the worst one for me, then 5, then 4, then there's another one in between. Yeah, Jigsaw, then Saw 6, then the first 3 Saw films. I probably put Saw 2, Saw 3, and then the original Saw. Very excited for Spiral. But yeah, that's this franchise that I might rank when Spiral comes out, if it does come out this year, which I probably will think. But yeah. Have you seen any of the... Can you think of the worst movie you've ever seen and watched? It can be animated, live action, or both. Worst film I've ever seen. Oof, that's a tough one, man. Again, that's like one, like, I don't know, Son of the Mask, Fant 4 Stick, Home Alone 4, I don't know. Wrong Turn 5, I don't know. Like, there's so many films I don't really like. I have a lot of like bottom barrel movies, but there's not one I would say is like the worst film ever made. Maybe if I did a video on that, I could cherry pick them, but yeah, that's just my opinion. There's just some just off the top of my head thoughts. Thoughts on WandaVision. I actually just binge watched the first 5 episodes. I was somebody who didn't want to watch the series until it finished, and then I would review it next month, which I'm going to review it next month. I personally didn't want to watch to the end because I don't like doing bingey. I don't like watching shows week to week, especially now with these streaming service shows that like they're shot like 8-hour movies, and now they're not releasing them like 8-hour movies like they used to, just so they can like cap it off, or they don't want people to log in and log off. And it frustrates me because I'm like, Disney Plus, you have like 75 million subscribers and you only have one show that people are talking about. And one that just got controversy because Gina Carano just got fired. But anyways, for me, it's like WandaVision is like the start of them actually starting to produce, more content than just The Mandalorian that people are talking about. And it's frustrating because I had to dodge so many spoilers and unfollow a lot of people who were in the comic book scenes. But I decided to crack it because I couldn't focus on anything but the show itself. And I watched it, and honestly, I really enjoyed it so far. The first 2 episodes are very slow, I will say. It's mostly sitcom recreations, and then you get like a little hint of what's going on. Episode 4 onward, I've really enjoyed what's going on thus far. And I'm very excited to check out. I don't know if I'm going to check out the shows week to week, or I'm probably going to wait till next month to watch the back half of the series. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. And I think it's a very fresh pace for the MCU, and definitely kind of gives the middle finger to everyone who's saying, "Oh, the MCU is just the same storyline, same bad guys, same villains." It definitely gives a different shade to what's going on, and fleshes out characters, especially Wanda Maximoff, who is a lot more gray in this season than we've seen her previously, and you completely understand where she's coming from. Michael Bay had creativity. News to me. Are we talking about Transformers? I mean, yeah. Have you seen the Green Lantern or Suicide Squad extended cut? No, I mean, I don't know. The versions that I watched may have been the extended versions. I don't really know. I mean, they're the type of cuts that are like they're only like 5-10 minutes longer. I think they would gain more significance if they generally changed the movie, but I don't hear anyone talking about those cuts. Not like the Daredevil extended cut or the Richard Donner cut or Zack Snyder's Justice League, where it's like it massively changes what we've seen before. It just seems like okay, they're just gonna add extra stuff so they can put it on the Blu-ray. But if it massively changes the film, I mean, yeah, I'll check them out. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Bro, what are your thoughts on Brooklyn Nine-Nine ending on season 8? That show was hilarious. I have not seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Anthony. That's another show that I'm going to put on my watch list. I just haven't watched any of the shows by the creators of The Office other than The Office. Everyone tells me that Parks and Rec is hilarious. I heard a lot of great things about it. It's just a show that I haven't gotten around to. And same thing with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I mean, Like I thought they got renewed for like 2 more seasons, or didn't they get like canceled by what is it, NBC, and now they put on FX or something like that, or vice versa. But I mean, if it's ending and I mean it was on a roll, I mean it's better to end off a show in a good run than like have it burnt out like something. What am I thinking of? Where like it runs for so long, like The Simpsons, where like it runs for so long they're just sick of it. Like it's better to end off a series on a high note than just have it be dragged out like The Big Bang Theory. Well, The Big Bang Theory I don't think was that good to begin with. Thoughts on the 50 Shades of Grey films? How would you rank them? I'm asking since I think they're considered as bad films, even though they made a lot of money. And what do you think of Twilight? Well, I mean, just because a film makes money doesn't mean it has to be a good movie. I've seen all of them, sadly. I've not seen any of the Twilight films, so I can't really comment on what's going on. But if I had to rank them, I mean, this is like bottom. It's like choosing, I don't know, 3 pieces of trash. Which one would you rather eat? I'd probably say the worst one probably be, I don't know, 50 Shades Darker than the first one, than Freed, because at least Freed ends off the series. That's the best I can give you. Have you seen Nine movie? Have you seen the Nine film from 2009 that was made by Tim Burton? Elijah Wood's in that film. I have not seen Nine. I remember seeing the poster a lot when I was like young and like walking through Blockbuster and seeing that like DVD cover. But I've never watched it. I've never been a big fan of Tim Burton. I've enjoyed a couple of his films. If you've seen my Batman reviews, you know I enjoy his Michael Keaton films, and I actually enjoyed his Dumbo remake, despite a lot of hate towards that. But for me, a lot of his films like Edward Scissorhands or Big Fish or the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake, oh my god, there's a lot. Like Tim Burton is a director that is just very much like he's very much, you love it or you hate it, and I am somebody who just doesn't really. I'm not a big fan of his work. That's just my thing. No, the creators decided to end it on season 8 and had to rewrite most of the scripts to the rise happening in June. Oh, and that sucks. That's like a. Well, what am I thinking of? It's like a Game of Thrones situation where like the writers like kind of rushed the ending, and if that's so, I mean, if it gives it like if season 8 is good, if season 8's a bad season, then I mean that sucks. And just I don't know, I don't know what happened. Is it because the show's starring cops and because of the riots? Is that the connection? Because I understand, because I remember like didn't they cancel Cops on from was on I don't know. They canceled that show Cops when the riots happened, but yeah, that's happened. Then that kind of sucks. I feel bad for the writers. Onward or Soul, both are great Pixar films, or both are Pixar films. If you've seen my Pixar ranking, but if you haven't, Soul easily. I think both of the Pixar films that came out last year were pretty great. But I really enjoy Soul. Soul was my favorite film of last year. It really surprised me with how much I enjoyed it, especially with how vague the marketing was, which makes sense because it's an abstract and weird movie. But Pete Docter, great director, Pixar. He always hits strikes whenever he makes a Pixar film. I love Wall-E. Well, no, he didn't do Wall-E. He did Up. That's what I'm thinking of. Up, Monsters Inc., Inside Out, and then this. I mean, it's just a great movie. Loved it all the way through. But Onward's still pretty good. It really does suck that Onward is just so underrated for me because like it got cut short of a theatrical release after 2 weeks, and now like no one talks about it. I don't know. It's a movie that I think is a lot better, and I think more people should check out. I used to love Tim Burton. Yeah. Have you seen the Sound of the Metal? Or you talking about Sound of Metal? What is it? The Amazon original movie with Riz Ahmed. I have seen Sound of Metal, and I will definitely say it's a damn good movie. I really enjoy it. Like it's the performance of Riz Ahmed. He's a great actor. I mean, apart from Venom, which he was an incredibly nice cast in, he's great in everything else I've seen him in, like, especially in Nightcrawler, where he's like the cameraman to Jenkins Gyllenhaal's character. He's a great actor, and it really shows the side of the deaf community and how it affects you, especially somebody who has hearing and then he loses it, and just the dramatic sense of it. There definitely are issues with it, in my opinion. It definitely ends on a weird note, but for me, I enjoy it mostly all the way through. Performances are great. Just one of those dramas that just captivates you from beginning to end. I don't know. I don't understand why James Cameron is spending time on making Avatar sequels and creating a new movie with a new story, etc. Since Avatar has a bland story that's been told many times already. Yeah, James Cameron, honestly, he's such a great director, but he makes like he takes so long to make movies now. Like he's made some of the best films ever made. I mean, you look at the first 2 Terminator films, or Aliens, or True Lies. He's such a great director, but now he's like wasting his time on doing these 4 sequels to a movie that came out over a decade ago. That honestly now isn't really as revolutionary as it was. Like Avatar, the reason why it was so popular is because of the effects of the time, because it was so revolutionary, because it invented basically 3D and invented that new wave that now has since kind of faded into irrelevancy. And now it's like its entire what is it? Its entire legacy is just temporary, and now you're spending time on a franchise that for me I just don't really care about. I like the first Avatar film enough, but it's not like a movie that I'm like waiting for the sequels to come out. Like there's 4 sequels. Like how do you expect, like, do you think that Avatar 2 is going to instantly make money? I mean, we saw how in Terminator Dark Fate, like, just because you have a big franchise doesn't mean that you're going to make money. We'll see what happens when Avatar 2 comes out in, like, 2049, but I wish he would actually make smaller films, not take a decade plus to make a movie, because I think he's one of those directors that he kind of strikes the line every time he makes a movie. Do you think Phase 4 of the MCU will be the best phase? Because I feel like it might be. I don't know. I mean, Phase 4 is definitely it has the challenge of having to having to reestablish what it is. Unlike the first 3 phases, which it was very much building up to the Infinity Saga. Now you have that. Now you have to reignite the hype. So you do have a fan base now, which is kind of you wipe away that struggle that I had with the first phase, where you had to introduce the MCU. But now everyone's like, Endgame's great. Why do we have to continue the story? And now you have to come up with new ideas, come up with new characters, come up with like new things to do with the MCU to make it fresh, to make it relevant. And I think MCU Phase 4, we'll see what happens, especially with the whole Disney Plus show angle, because now you have so many things going on. Because I have a friend who like he doesn't like movies and TVs being integrated into one another. So I don't even know if he wants to watch like stuff like WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and how would that affect his, like, when he watches Doctor Strange or the next Avengers film. But it has a great opportunity. Like I can definitely see it being a weird, like not weird, but I can say it will be an odd phase to say the least. But I think it has the opportunity to be the best phase. Just depends on the quality of the films and TV shows that we get. Also, have you seen Infinity Train? It's a really good. It's a really great show too, bro. I have not seen Infinity Train. Is that an anime? Because if it is, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of anime, to be honest with you. It's not like I'm not open to it. I've seen some stuff. I've seen Ghost in the Shell. I've seen Alita Battle Angel. Sure, those are Americanized versions of anime. I've seen the Pokemon films. I've seen, like, what is it? I think I saw the live action version of My Hero Academia. No, it's not is it My Hero Academia? I don't know. But yeah. Have you seen Life is Beautiful? I have not. What are your thoughts on Disney's live action movies? For me, I can't stand them because they just usually tell the same stories, just with changes here and there, and they just aren't that fun to watch. I'm hit or miss on them, because you definitely have some films that have the that could definitely improve upon with a remake, like The Jungle Book. That's a great movie that the original animated film really wasn't that good to begin with, and so like if it's a movie that needs improvement, like Dumbo, I enjoyed. Despite I'm not a big fan of Tim Burton, I enjoyed the Dumbo remake because it was a lot better than the original film. If you have a mediocre or bad original anime film and you want to bring it back to live action and you want to improve upon it, that's great. It shows when you get stuff like Lion King or Aladdin, where all you do is just, you don't really do much new with it, and the stuff you do new with it doesn't really add much to it. And that's my thing. It's just they take the easy routes and just want to bank off the name alone, and that's why I have an issue with. His name is James Cameron, the bravest pioneer. No budget too steep, no sea too deep. It's him, James Cameron. Explored the sea with a dying thirst to be the first. That's him, James Cameron. Is that a rhyme? I mean, hey, listen, A+ on the lyricist, bro. Have you seen the Banana Splits movie? I have not seen a Banana Splits movie. There's a lot of films I have not seen on this. You guys. Hey, listen, I'll give you guys credit for answering some interesting questions. I've heard a lot of things about it, a lot of mixed things about it, but I've not seen it yet. It's a cartoon, bro, and it's on HBO Max. Okay, I'll make sure to put it on my watch list. Is it like Cowboy Bebop? Because when I think of Western cartoon, I think of Cowboy Bebop. But HBO Max, yeah, I actually revoked my subscription for HBO Max like back in December, whenever like the whole bombshell dropped, whenever like all Warner Bros. All Warner Brothers movies, but I can't speak. For all of Warner Brothers movies, the 2021 theatrical slates would be dropped on HBO Max. I was like, you know what? Screw this. I don't want to sign up for this. I will re-sign up for the Snyder Cut because I want to see that on my TV in my basement in like a dark lighting, because that seems like an epic watch. But yeah, we'll see what happens to HBO Max. If they keep producing good content, I'll probably sign back on. It's just too expensive. Like $15 a month. Are you kidding me? What's up, Carter? Seen The Thing, the John Carpenter one? I have seen The Thing. I think it's slightly overrated, but I do really enjoy it. That's another example of a remake definitely improving upon the original film. Best practical effects used in any film. I will say the best practical use of effects. Marvelous. Acting great, atmosphere great. It's just the characters for me just don't really attach. They don't really grab me that much, but atmosphere off the charts, directing off the charts. Really good movie. Can you rate Horrible Bosses 1 and 2? Horrible Bosses, I'd probably give that one like an 8 out of 10, like a B, rent it. And then Horrible Bosses 2, I'd probably give that like a B also, a 7.5 out of 10 and a rent it recommendation. I enjoy both of them. They're pretty good movies. LOL, it's a South Park reference, my James Cameron comment. Oh, okay, yeah. South Park I've not seen in a while, man. That's been a while. South Park is just one of those shows that like I've just what is it? It's just one of those shows I kind of watch every now and again because there are so many seasons of it, and it's kind of like something I turn on the TV every once in a while. I'll watch it, or I'll maybe put something on the background. But yeah, Jurassic Park or Indiana Jones, which one is better in your opinion? For me, it's gonna be Jurassic Park because Jurassic Park sticks more with me. I really listen. I love the first 3 Indiana Jones films; they're all great. But Jurassic Park for me, that's something that really is special. You know, the majesty of the visual effects mixed in with the practical effects, which I think is what you need to have for a movie, which I think that's an issue with a lot of films nowadays, where they're just too heavily reliant on CGI. That characters are great. The score by John Williams, one of the best ever made. A great, simple concept brought to life, although, yes, it is based on the book. Just great dialogue, great actors, great tension, suspense, and great comedy, and just great wonder as well. It's just such a great thing, and it's one of those franchises similar to Jaws that hasn't been topped since because they can't find a way to continue the story like relevantly. The only like decent follow up for me has been Jurassic World, which they kind of turned to shit with Fallen Kingdom, and I don't even know what's gonna happen with Dominion, but we'll see what happens. Another thing, what video game movies have you seen? Heard the Resident Evil ones sound bad. All the Resident Evil ones I've seen, they all suck. Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander was pretty good. I've seen the Angry Birds movies. I talked about them previously on the chat. I've seen. What am I thinking of? There's another one I've seen. I've seen Street Fighter, both the Street Fighter movies. I've seen Double Dragon. I've seen the Super Mario Brothers movie. If you want to count both the Pokemon movies, I've seen those. Seen Sonic, and I think those are the only ones I've seen. Yeah, those are the ones I've seen. Could you rank The Empty Man and Bloodshot? The Empty Man, I'd probably give that like a D, a 3 out of 10, and a skip recommendation. One of the most boring films I saw last year, and that's saying a lot. And then Bloodshot, I'd probably give like a C plus, 6 out of 10. Stream it. That's a movie that I enjoy for how dumb it is, and I might review it for its anniversary, but that's a movie that is just so stupid that I enjoy it. That was actually the last movie I watched before COVID happened. And I was like sitting in the theater with like 2 other people, and I was like, damn, this is the last movie I'm going to be seeing for at least like a month, and now it's been like it's been a minute. Honestly, for the MCU Phase 4, they should hype up the introduction of Galactus, and after that, it's really possible after they introduce Galactus, they should introduce Null God of the symbiotes. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the main villain of Phase 4 is either Wanda Maximoff or Doctor Doom. Either of those would be awesome. That's my opinion. But Galactus, I think it should be a villain that should be saved. That or Kang the Conqueror. Those should be saved for later phases. I don't think you should drop them in Phase 4. Even in Phase 4, you got like the Spider-Verse being introduced apparently, and you have all this crazy wild stuff being introduced in Phase 4. You don't want to blow your load, especially after you have to reestablish the universe after Endgame. And there's so many ties to Endgame that you have to split up into different franchises and movies and TV shows. But yeah. Do you think vampires deserve a second chance after they got ruined by Twilight? Yes. Vampire movies are awesome. Some of my favorite films, From Dusk Till Dawn, The Lost Boys. What's another great one? Near Dark is awesome. Vampires are genuinely scary and they're generally effective, but because they got both that and werewolves were ruined by They were ruined by Twilight, and now they're not seen as scary anymore because that image for modern day. You can do a great American Werewolf in London remake. There's actually a movie on Sundance I've heard a lot of good things about called 8 for Silver, which is a werewolf movie, which I'm really excited to check out. It stars like Boyd Holbrook. that looks very interesting. But yeah, vampires are generally scary when you can make them, and now I think they definitely deserve a second chance because it's not their fault the Twilight sucked. Will you rank all the Sony Pictures animation films? Maybe at some point. I haven't seen most of them. Like I've seen the open season films, I've seen the Surf's Up films, I've seen the Hotel Transylvania films. I've seen a few like ones in between. It's just that I can't rank them all on the top of my head because I haven't seen any of them. But maybe for every film franchise rank part 4, since I've already shot part 3 and it will come out hopefully later this month. That yeah, I might do it. What do you think about the upcoming Marvel? What do you think about the upcoming Minecraft movie? Flop or future Academy Award winner? In between, I mean, I don't think it's gonna suck, but it's not exciting me that much. I think because it's not coming out till like late 2022, 2023-ish now. So it is so far away that like I can't say any details. And I miss the days when the big rumor about that movie was Steve Carell was gonna be cast as Steve, and the fact they dropped the idea and now it's gonna be about like what is it, like some girl and her friends going on a quest or something like that. It just doesn't seem like Minecraft. That's just one of those games I'm like, why are you making a movie about it? Again, maybe it could be like an Angry Birds scenario where I'm expecting that, or it might just be decent. I'd be okay, that was fine, but I'm not expecting anything from it. Have you seen Disney's Princess and the Frog? I have, but not in a very long time. I remember really enjoying it on like the Disney Channel, but it's not a movie that I haven't gone back to a lot. Would you agree that Alien 1979 was a definition of sci-fi horror? It's one of the pioneers, I will definitely say. It's not the first, but it's definitely one of the best examples of a good sci-fi horror film. That isolation, that claustrophobia, the sound design of the xenomorphs and the kills, and just the atmosphere. Yeah, that's definitely one that I would say that's a pioneer of sci-fi horror. Have you seen Interview with a Vampire? I have not. I'm sorry to be so blunt with these questions. It's just like that's another film that I need to put on my watch list because I haven't seen it yet. But I heard a lot of good things about it. I'm with you on the vampires. They're cool and when done well. Exactly. They're generally scary and they can be terrifying. They have a lot of interesting concepts. You can draw from them. It's just people don't take them seriously now, and it sucks. But maybe we can get some great vampire stuff in the future. Slenderman 2018 or The Empty Man? I have not seen Slenderman for 2018, so The Empty Man by default. And I don't plan on watching Slenderman anytime soon. Maybe for a review. Ironically, I don't know. Will you check out Willy's Wonderland tomorrow? It's literally a movie about FNAF with Nick Cage was a protagonist. Yes, I will check out Willy's Wonderland. That movie looks so much fun. I love the concept of that. And I know that like Blumhouse is developing some sort of FNAF movie, but I don't think that's going anywhere. That's a movie that I heard about because of 3C Films and his like hype for it. And I just love the concept of just Nicolas Cage going after these animatronics as a janitor. Just that sounds like such a fun concept. So I cannot wait to check that out. I don't know if I'll check it out tomorrow because I do work tomorrow, but as soon as I can, I will check it out because that looks like a blast. Also on defining movies, what else define movie genres? If you had to define a specific things like classics, horror movies, modern horror slashers were defined by Psycho and Halloween. And then Friday the 13th kind of kicked it into gear and was like the main star of gory horror films. Die Hard kind of stabilized the more modern, grounded, more realistic action thrillers. The Matrix kind of blended in sci-fi and action together. The Christopher Nolan Batman films and Sam Raimi Spider-Man films really defined what you could do with this good superhero trilogy. Well, Spider-Man 3 isn't that good, but you know what I mean? They had this like modern spin on superhero stuff. I'm sorry if my cat's whining. He's just being, let me just open this door for him real quick. There you go. I'm back. But yeah, I mean, comedy, nowadays comedy that would probably American Pie and stuff like that, Mean Girls, dramas. Oof. What would I say for dramas? I don't know. But yeah, those are some examples for me. Isn't one of this I can't speak. Isn't one of the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia guys involved with the Minecraft film? Maybe. I mean, I think maybe Charlie Day, I'm thinking. But again, that's a movie that I really haven't discussed much about, or I haven't really put my eye on it because I think I got delayed due to the whole shift of the Batman, which is a movie that I'm definitely more excited for than the Minecraft movie. But if it is, then it is. Another one for Alien. If you saw Requiem another one for Alien. If you saw Requiem, he did? He, if you saw Requiem, he did you? How did you feel about the director letting him kill off a kid within the first half hour? Oh, are you talking about Alien vs. Predator Requiem? That movie is just gross. I'm not against kids being killed in horror movies because if you have kids being killed, like Halloween 2018, for example, when like Michael Myers snaps the kid's neck in the truck, I don't have an issue with that because you can't, because it's kind of taboo to kill kids in horror movies, and it sounds sick, but it's kind of like, what is it? It adds extra tension to the scene, what's going on, and I think you basically imply that no one's safe. The problem with AVP Requiem is that it's not meant to be like as in terms of tension. It's just meant to be shock value. There's literally a scene where the Xenomorph goes to like a war full of babies, and they kind of and he kills all of them off screen, and then like he impregnates a woman with a face hugger, and it's like it goes so far and it's so gross that that's not a movie that like I appreciate that what they did for it, because I'm just like you're just trying to kill anybody for shock value. Not to mention that, like, you know, you can't see you can't see most of them because there's no lighting. But regardless, Star Wars defined sci-fi in a lot of ways. Yeah, I could definitely say that too. If you're talking about main sci-fi action, Star Wars definitely was a pioneer in that. Who is the real villain in the Kitchen Night? Who is the real villain in the Kitchen 2019? Ruby or her husbands? I think the movie wants you to root for Ruby. But I think if it was taken more seriously, I think Ruby could have been like that. I think it's meant to be where Ruby is now the main head of the what was it? Her own little domicile in Hell's Kitchen, and how she rose to power in that. But I don't think the movie wants you to decide her as a villain. I think they want you to root her on because of girl power. So in a more realistic dramatic film, they would have that route. But I think the husbands are just meant to be stereotypical douchebag people. Did you hear the director for Creed 2 is making the next Transformers movie called Beast Alliance? The title is a work in progress, but that's literally a heist film from New York to the Amazon forest. That sounds fun. That reminds me of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Whenever what am I thinking of the guy's name? Bebop and Rocksteady. Whenever they steal those like little canisters of ooze in like the Bahamas and in New York. That's something that kind of reminds me when I hear that concept. But listen, Bumblebee proved that you can do these Transformers spinoffs good if you have a good director and good writer, and take it away from Michael Bay and actually make these films what they're meant to be, not these over-sexualized, PG-13, erotic, crass pieces of garbage. Make them like they're like, embrace the weirdness of Transformers. Don't try to make it cool for 15-year-olds who don't give a crap about the property to begin with. But yeah, I'll check it out when it does. I like Creed 2. Yeah, I'm down for it. There's this comedian from the 70s and 80s named Andy Kaufman who kind of started the form of comedy that's about riling people out and messing with people. Think Eric Andre Nathan for you. Yeah, I know who Andy Kaufman is. I haven't seen Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey. I know that film kind of covers it's like a biopic. But Andy Kaufman, he's kind of he was one of those classic comedians that like I've seen some of his material and I do like it, but again, it's so beyond my time. It's kind of like Eddie Murphy or when you look at George Carlin. You respect what they do, but it's not. For me, comedy is very subjective, and I respect what they do, but my sense of humor doesn't really align that much. But all props in the world of Andy Kaufman for being able to have that dry sense of humor. Ooh, here's a good horror question. What's the better version of Stephen King's work, the books or the films? Or is it 50-50? I haven't read any Stephen King's books, so I cannot say. But I will say, if we're talking about Stephen King films, they're some of the weirdest spectrum of films I've ever seen from any sort of like author, because you have some of the best films ever made, literally Shawshank, Green Mile, Stand By Me, The Shining. Wait 1 second, guys, my cats are fighting. Yeah, sorry, my cats fight sometimes, and it's really annoying when you do it on a live stream, especially when I'm filming a video. It's the worst. But back to the Stephen King thing. You have some of the best films ever made, And then you have some of the worst films. You got like 10 Children of the Corn films. You got Sleepwalkers and Pet Cemetery 2 and just Thinner and just so many bad horror movies. And then you get stuff like Misery or 2017 It, and just it's just, I think Stephen King, from what I've seen in the book or in books, I think he goes so weird in some things, like the whole thing about in the original It book, like how the kids defeat Pennywise by they have an orgy, and I'm like, what? Like so many eyebrow raising things that you're like, that's kind of why It Chapter 2 isn't as good as the first one for me, because they do translate so much from the book into the movie. And there's a golden rule where it's like, you don't always have to translate what's on the book onto the screen, because sometimes just things don't work as well on words as it does visually. And that's my thing about it. I think it's very much 50-50. It just depends on your taste. That's just, that's all it boils down to. But that Psych overview does agree that the books are on the side. That's the movie with the most choppy ending that you've ever seen. Oh, what's the movie with the most choppy editing that you've ever seen? Ooh. There's like one that really... Taken 3, probably the one where like it takes the 18 cuts for Liam Neeson to jump over a fence, or any elevator Megaton movie. He did Columbia, Taken 2, Taken 3. I think he did Transporter 3, if I'm not taken. But I hate those quick cut action films where you can't show any like sort of thing, like what they did in Cobra Kai season 3 recently, where the final battle is literally like cut in between, where you can't see what's going on. I hate that. But off the top of my head, probably Taken 3. What was the song with Kanye and Jay-Z? It was something about something fellas in Paris. Oh, come on, Anthony. You know I can't say that. Can't ruin my brand. Is it rude? Tell me without telling me that you are a resident in Paris. Is it rude to bet on cat fights? I mean, depends if it's just scrapping or killing each other. Depends. Oh my god. Someone's gonna take it out of context. And sorry for the bombardment, but what's your Pacific Rim opinion? In my honest opinion, the sequel was a joke. I enjoy both over. I think the first one's something better than the second one. The second one I haven't seen since theaters, but I remember it just being all right enough. Those kaiju films, those kind of like big, we're gonna fight monsters in the city type films. Those aren't films that really interest me that much. So that's kind of why I didn't put Godzilla vs. Kong on my most anticipated list of this year, because it's just kind of like, I'll watch it, but it's just not a very interesting story for me. And it's just, I enjoy the first one, second one fine, but not much. Yeah, well, Anthony does agree. Have you seen A Boy Named Charlie Brown? I have not seen that. Which movie do you think was more important from the superhero films, Superman 1978 or Batman 1989? I'm going to have to see Superman 78, because Superman 78 was the first true superhero film that's ever been made. If you go back, there really wasn't much of any superhero films that were being released. The only other like DC film that was released was like over a decade prior was the Batman film with Adam West, and that was just a joke. Superman 78 was the first serious, well, I won't say serious because it's very lighthearted, but it's the first true superhero film that has ever been made. And it kind of laid the groundwork for superhero films being made in the future. And that's the thing that kind of cemented it, and it's still kind of continued on as one of those golden staples when you look at superhero films. When you look at that, or The Dark Knight, or Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, or The Winter Soldier. It's one of those golden superhero films that doesn't matter how much time passes, it will always be regarded. And I think it led the door open for superhero films. Batman 89 definitely has its importance in film for being the first true dark Batman film and being one of the more edgier Batman films for that time period that led to more serious films we got in the 90s, like The Crow, or films like that. How do you feel about how them turning the Fallout game series into a show on Amazon and the runner of the Paramount taking Elder Scrolls? I mean, it depends. I can't really comment on that stuff, which I have no much say in it. And honestly, we'll see what happens when these shows get released, because that's the thing. You really can't judge much stuff on things, because I haven't played either of the. Well, I've played Fallout 4 some, but it just depends on what direction these shows are going to take. Like the HBO series for Last of Us. Like, we'll see what happens when it gets when these shows get released. Just for now, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent to it because there's no sort of there's no sort of like defining things that we know about it yet. If it's just okay, these companies are taking hold of the rights for this video game, there's no reason to doubt it yet, other than the stink of video game movies and TV shows. But I think it's starting to get better with better video game movies coming out. Hopefully, with Mortal Kombat and the Tomb Raider sequel and Sonic 2 and The Last of Us. We'll see what happens. We might get a turnaround for these video game properties. Rumor has it the Fall Show has the creators of the YouTube short film Follow Red Star as directors and major set/story designers. I have not seen that Follow Red Star short film, but honestly, it's always kind of cool when the directors or when a studio takes like hires these fans and actually lets them run their own thing instead of just getting Joe Blow. Because that's the issue with a lot of these older video game movies, like with what's his name? I'm trying to forget. Like the director who did all those really shitty video game movies, like House of the Dead and Far Cry, and just Uwe Boll's the guy, where they just handed him all these video game properties and he just did whatever he wanted with them. When you get someone who generally knows the back of their hand with the video game, the lore is, and they know how to work, instead of just getting some random guy off the street to make a movie on the video game franchise he's never done before, then I mean that's cool. Again, we'll see what happens when the movie comes out or the show. What is your favorite John Ford film? I don't know who John Ford is. Are you talking about Harrison Ford? John Ford. That's a name that does not ring a bell. John Ford. Let's see. Have I seen any of this guy's? I've not seen any of his movies. The only thing I've seen from him that's been connected to him has been Unforgiven, which he didn't direct. I don't think so. I think didn't Clint Eastwood direct Unforgiven? But if he directed Unforgiven, then that's I guess that's by default my answer. Musicals or westerns? Westerns. They're both genres that I don't think have a lot of range, but I'll usually watch westerns, something like Logan or Magnificent Seven or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly over any musical. Just found out the Red Star creator. Just found the Red Star creators. Twice Digital. Heard of them? I have not. Sonic 2 and Into the Spider-Verse 2 come out on the same day, April 8th. It's going to be an interesting day. Spider-Verse 2 actually got delayed to October 7th, 2022, Anthony. I remember that happened like months ago, but yeah, they're not coming out on the same day. Childhood cartoons. Ben 10 or Kim Possible? By default, Ben 10. I didn't really grow up to Kim Possible. That was a show that came out when I was like super young, like was it like 2002, 2003-ish? So I didn't really grow up with it because it was just right underneath my age range. Other than Ben 10. Ben 10, I watched some of the specials and the cartoons on Cartoon Network and stuff, so by default, Ben 10. I agree. Seeing the creators take into account the fans' knowledge of their own universe is giving them the torch is an awe-inspiring and very positive. John Ford made movies in the 1910s and 1960s. Yeah, I haven't seen any John Ford's films. So again, that's another thing. It seems like you know a lot more about film than I do. So, I will put the director on my watch list. It's always been 10. Kids Next Door and Danny Phantom. Yes, those are the shows I've grown up with. Clint Eastwood director and Forgiven. Yes, okay, I was making sure about that. My man. Man. This is just such a lively chat. I'm having a blast. What is your favorite Peanut special? Mine is Bring Me the Head of Charlie Brown. My favorite will always be the Thanksgiving special. That one I watch pretty much every single Christmas. Or no, sorry, every single Thanksgiving, and has some of those iconic parts. Whenever like Lucy has a football and then Charlie trips over it. Just so many of those classic Charlie Brown moments you get from that special. But again, I'm not someone who rewatches a lot of Charlie Brown stuff. The Gentleman or Rock and Rolla? The Gentleman. I really enjoy Rock and Rolla, but I will probably say The Gentleman is my favorite of the both. That's a really good movie. That's one of the best films of 2020, I guess. Or if you saw it 2019, depends on it. But Guy Ritchie definitely coming back to his style. If there's a video game that should never be made to a movie besides GTA, what else should it be forbidden? I believe Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs to be put to rest. A video game that should never be put into a movie. What shouldn't be put into a movie? Like, I'm really trying to think. I would say Mario, but Illumination's already doing a Mario animated film. Uh, I don't know, Pac-Man, and any of those like classic arcade games. Like we saw what happened with Pixels. I enjoyed Pixels, but I mean like a really simple like I don't know, Among Us. There we go, or I don't know, Subway Surfers. I don't want an app being made into a movie. We saw what happened with emojis. Let me see. I think there needs to be more Christmas horror movies. Yes, there needs to be more because the only ones I've watched are like Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. Well, there's actually quite a few of them, but they need to be more. They're like Krampus, I think was like the last like big one. Black Christmas 2019 sucked. That wasn't even a horror movie. That was like some just that was such a bad movie. But yeah, there needs to be more like more widely available Christmas horror films. I think that they don't need to be so taboo because everyone talks about like Love Actually and Home Alone and the typical stuff. There's so many like there's so few Thanksgiving or sorry so many few Christmas films that really get that recognition they deserve because you always see the same ones: Christmas Vacation, Elf, Bad Santa. Well, that's more taboo, but you know what I'm talking about. Dude, that Thanksgiving special was dope. It's a classic besides the Halloween one. Yes. Damn, taking this into account, this channel needs more active than rising YouTuber sub count rate. Thank you. Do you know how to speak Spanish? Somewhat. I have a lot of Hispanic friends, and I went to middle school with a very Hispanic dominance. I'll probably say it would probably be like 50-60% white, and then you probably get like 20-25% Hispanic. And so when it was such a like because I went to a very kind of like white collar elementary school, and then I went to a middle school where it was very much a lot more diverse. And you hear a lot of phrases and you hear a lot of things. And I've actually started to learn stuff like Duolingo. I've been practicing that every single day. So I've learned some phrases. I've learned to speak some sentences correctly, but it's like to fully become bilingual. It's gonna be taking me like 5-6 years to get to, but I'm getting better at it slightly every single day. Me, no offense, as a fellow content creator, I get the slow grind, but it pays off eventually. I hope. Yeah, the thing about YouTube, honestly, what pisses me off is just like it really is kind of like a betting game, as in terms of popularity, because you can get some people like what happened with TikTok, where you have girls just dancing in front of a camera and they can get 100 million followers and they can become rich and live in a hype house. Meanwhile, you got so many people who like can generally put like hour-long documentaries and they'll put their heart and soul and they only get like 5K subs in like a decade. It just depends on the algorithm, and it really depends on just what YouTube wants to promote. And it does suck that like some people do get thrown under the bus. But for me, I'm kind of glad that I have a small following instead of getting like 100 million subscribers. Because from what I've seen, like I recently, today I watched a documentary on Zoe Laverne, the woman who she's like the 19-year-old who got caught kissing a 13-year-old and like the whole pedophile thing. And you realize that like having a fan base at like 16, 17 years old, that big, like it's like a Kardashian size, can really affect your mental health and can really like it pretty much makes you all your decisions revolve around your fans and your stands. And I'm glad that I can just do my own thing, and I get you guys who are in the comments and have fun, and I just have like a little circle that I enjoy hanging out with, rather than not having to go outside without putting a hoodie on and being spot on the street. It's just kind of the balance where like I'm fine where I am right now. I understand. Do I wish I was bigger? Yeah, but I mean, it just depends on what happens. Man, okay, sorry. A little bit of a ramble there. What are your thoughts on the original Mad Max? I dislike the first one, but I like the second one. I haven't seen the third one yet. I have not seen the Mad Max films in like years. I think the last time I watched them was right before Fury Road came out. But if you want, my thoughts on the original Mad Max, I like it. I think it's not as good as Road Warrior or Fury Road, because that it's very much an off. Every single Mad Max film is definitely different from the one before it. Mad Max isn't really much of an apocalyptic movie. It's very much like a low budget action film with Mel Gibson, and the post-apocalyptic thing that the franchise is known for didn't really grow into Road Warrior. But for what it is, I enjoy it. But I just haven't seen it in like 6 years. Black Christmas 2019 doesn't exist. Yeah, me too. I agree with that. I think we need like a parasite horror movie that uses technology to leech on the people, like viruses from my visitor, like from my visitor's a teenage vampire. Yeah, I mean, Black Mirror would definitely benefit an episode like that. Like, I think there was one like that where it's like, I don't know, something like that. Wasn't the one with was it Anthony Mackie, the video game one where like him and his friend like go into the go in the VR and they get locked into like a Mortal Kombat like Dead or Alive style game and they start making out. That was a weird episode, but like something that's actually more horror centric. Hey, Gran, we're all set. I'll be up in a minute. Sorry, that's my dad calling me for dinner. So I'll be back here for like 5 more minutes. It'll be fun. Honestly, they should make a movie about Far Cry 3, especially because the poster boy, it was Von Montenegro, and his acting was phenomenal. He was voice acted by Michael Mando. Scorpion, my man, Nacho from Better Call Saul. Man, Michael Mando is a good actor. Yeah, the crack shack I am right now on top. Ooh, okay. Yeah, Far Cry. I need to get into that franchise. I really want to. What is it? I really want to watch. No, I really want to play Far Cry 6 with my boy Gus as the main star. That's definitely a franchise I want to get into. The algorithm fucking buries you. Why can't we have a purge day where the lowest viewed channels who fit recommended requirements get as recommended pages other than the advertisements? I would love that to see that happen, to get like people who genuinely deserve more subscribers and don't just do crap, because that's the issue with the YouTube algorithm, is that like the whole issue with the kid channels that happened like 3 or 4 years ago, like Guava Juice, or those where they have super crappy thumbnails with like, we're gonna do Among Us raps and we're gonna do Fortnite raps, and it's like, I don't care. Stop it. Or like they'll post spoilers from WandaVision when you haven't seen the episode yet. It's just frustrating to get through. But yeah, I agree with you, Carter. Okay, hot take. I think Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is a bit overrated. I know that's blasphemous, and I think the MCU's MJ is so much better than Raimi's Mary Jane. I mean, honestly, man, I agree. You're not the first one to say that the Sam Raimi films. I can definitely see it has outdated aspects, and I would definitely say, honestly, for me, I think the best romance of the Spider-Man universes has been Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield. I think Zendaya is a great actress. I just think that if they give her a lot more to do in the third Spider-Man film, I think she has a lot of great potential to be better than Kirsten Dunst. I just think Kirsten Dunst has more of an emotional arc in the Sam Raimi trilogy than MJ has, because MJ kind of feels really much in the background in Homecoming, and then Far From Home, it feels like such a 180 shift from, okay, here's just a random girl who I want to, who I just know as an acquaintance, to in the beginning of Far From Home, like, oh, I want to go out with this woman. It just doesn't seem much of a connective tissue, but I mean, it's your opinion, man. Would you agree that the so-called awareness films for stuff like media addiction are cringy and disrespectful to the recovering actual addicts? Yeah, with awareness films, you had to tie that line really, really tightly on not wanting to shove a message down your throat. That's the thing. Because what stuff like Black Christmas 2019, where all they did was just say how men were the worst thing in the world, and it just got to the point where you're like, you're just making feminism just to be this man-hating thing, rather than it actually is. And other than something like, well, how about Run, Hide, Fight, and that whole bit controversy about the whole school shooting angle, you have to toe the line if you want to give a message across, where you don't want to seem preachy, but you have to just make a film first and make the message around it second. Because when you make the message the prime focus of your film, it can definitely turn people off from what you're trying to preach. Tron or Tron Legacy? Tron Legacy. Tron is a movie that I think was pretty cool for the time, but looking back on it, it's definitely weird. You're like, okay, what's going on? Tron Legacy, at least it modernizes pretty well. It's just both those films, I think they definitely fall short of what is a great concept. I hope that the third one with Jared Leto sticks, and I hope they really do expand this video game world and really do bring it to life. Gran Torino or Unforgiven? Unforgiven. Great movie. YouTube logic cringy equals favoritism. Bullshit prejudice, more views, therefore Susan's a tool. Yeah. What can you say? Society. Yeah. Again, I wish YouTube was different. Eyes Wide Shut or Clockwork Orange? I have not seen Eyes Wide Shut, so by default, a Clockwork Orange. And even if I saw Eyes Wide Shut, I would probably still put Clockwork Orange, because Clockwork Orange is one of the best films ever made, in my opinion. Like, that is a disturbing film. And I'm not someone who really gets affected by films that much, but my God, that film is terrifying. Malcolm McDowell, it sucks the fact now he's like in Lunchables commercials, because he's such a good actor. Oh yeah, the Amazing Spiderman movies nailed the chemistry and romance. That's the one thing those films did very well. Yeah, it sucks because that universe had so much great potential. It's just that the fact that they rushed into doing a reboot like 5 years after Sam Raimi ended his trilogy. Coming up. Uh, Sorry about that. But yeah, that universe was just, you know, like they had a lot of potential. It's just that they just, I just wish they had more development and didn't try to rush into a, Sinister Six Spider-Man universe. And I don't know, it's just frustrating because I don't know. I wish they had more to do with it. And hopefully, with this whole Spider Verse angle, that they can flesh out Andrew Garfield's storyline. But we'll see what happens. John Cena is in My Hero Academia. What? John Cena's in everything now. He's in Suicide Squad. He's in Fast 9. He's in Blockers. He's trying to become like The Rock and trying to be in a movie star now. It's kind of like, okay, he's in Takis commercials. I think my issue with the Mary Jane the Raymond movies is just that her shallow thing. I just find her very annoying. Do you ever see the Netflix documentaries about high school seniors, directed documentaries on kids who were bullied and were suspected of a crime and documentary investigation throughout it? Are you talking about American Vandal? Because that's what I'm thinking of, American Vandal. It's not the one where like because I've seen American Vandal. Are you talking about the one where like the student, like the bullet, like the prankster gets framed for the spray painting in the teacher lot, and then he gets expelled, and then the student it's like a mockumentary where he has to find out who really did it, because that's American Vandal. But if it's not like that, then it sounds really similar to American Vandal. Have you seen We Can Be Heroes from Netflix? I have not. Simply because I'm just not that interested in. I don't really like Robert Rodriguez's kids movies. I never liked Spy Kids growing up. I never liked Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and the fact that it's a sequel to that. Pedro Pascal has me interested. Boyd Holbrook has me interested, but it looks unfinished. It doesn't look good. Clockwork Orange just comes in the side, says, "Yo, we're gonna fuck with your head and succeeds spectacularly." Yeah, definitely. What are your thoughts on judging films by how well they aged? I can understand to an extent on visual effects, but I don't criticize them by how well they age from the visual style and soundtrack. Yeah, you have to look at it. Like, I look at each film for what they're trying to accomplish. For drama, I'm trying to see how well do they handle the dramatic stuff. For the horror film, how much am I entertained by it? And does it generally affect me? The scares, the gore. You have to look at each film as its own type of, what is it? You have to look for what the film's trying to accomplish. When you're looking at something for aging, for me, it's mainly just visual effects and you acting and that type of stuff. If it's something like a period piece like Mank or WandaVision recently, where you're trying to channel that 40s, 50s energy from an era that you weren't born in, and you can handle that, that's very well done. It just depends on how relevant it is. If it's something like Dumbo, like the original Dumbo, where you have Jim Crows and stuff, it's like, that doesn't really hold up. But usually, I can watch an older film and be completely fine with it. Will you review One Day Jennifer's Body? Maybe if I do it for an underrated film segment, but I don't know. That's a film I really don't consider to be that underrated, because I hear a lot more people talking about it now. It's a really good movie. I don't think it's as great as some people are bringing it out to be, but easily Megan Fox's best performance. What do you think is harder to do, comedy or drama? Comedy. Comedy, because you have to toe the line. And I as someone who's done a lot of skits for my old school show before, COVID happened. All you have to rely is being funny. You can have everything be good in a comedy. You have great actors, great set design, great production design, great directing. If your film isn't funny, that doesn't work. With the drama, you have a lot more to work with. If it's a comedy, it just falls on its face. You have to be funny, and comedy's subjective, which is even harder to do because there's no one way you can make it work. Have you seen Ready or Not? I have seen Ready or Not. I saw it in theaters and I own it on Blu-ray. Really fun movie. Smart is becoming one of those underrated hits like Anya Taylor-Joy. I can see her becoming a really big hit in the future. What are you doing? Okay. Okay, well, what time is it now? Okay. Sorry, guys, but my dad's calling me up for dinner, so I'm gonna have to end the live stream really sooner than I expected. But I will truly say thank you guys all for checking out the live stream. I really appreciate all of you guys giving you guys a lot of diverse questions and answering them, and just you guys are the reason why I keep doing YouTube and the motivation for why I keep doing videos. You guys are all great. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. And again, I appreciate all of you guys for what you've done, and we'll see what happens. Almost at a 1K subs, baby. So I'll see you guys around next time. Bye-bye.